Welcome back to the Dadlife podcast, a solo media podcast. Today we're going to talk about something that's not always easy to navigate: dating as a single dad. I know from personal experience that dating can feel like a whole new ballgame once you're a parent. You've got your own needs and desires, sure, but then there's the big responsibility of making sure everything you do aligns with what's best for your kids. So let's start with the basics. Dating as a single dad has its own unique set of challenges. For starters, time isn't exactly on your side. You're balancing work, parenthood, and hopefully a little time for yourself. Finding time to get out and meet new people can feel impossible at times. Then there's the fact that any potential partner needs to understand that my life doesn't revolve solely around romance. My kids are my number one priority, and that's something I bring up into every relationship. It can feel like there's a stigma, too, around being a single parent on the dating scene. You might even question if you're dating material as a dad. And I get it. It's easy to fall into that mindset. But here's the thing. It's possible to meet someone great who values the package deal you bring to the table. I know I go through phases of thinking that, why would someone want to be with me when I have kids? And when they're fighting, I'm like, why would anybody want to be around this? Now, when you do decide to start dating again, it's like opening up a whole new world. There's online dating, apps, and even the possibility of meeting someone the old-fashioned way through friends or at events. Whatever your approach, it's essential to be clear about who you are and what you're looking for. I know not everyone is interested in doing the dating app route. I find that it's easier for me to meet people because I am so shy in person, and I won't go up and just start chatting with somebody. And also, being at work most of the day, it's not like I'm out and get a chance to even meet new people. But one tip I'd offer to other single dads is don't rush it. Go at your own pace. It's okay if you're not ready to dive in. Take it slow and don't feel like you have to meet anyone's expectations but your own. And be transparent when you do meet someone. Let them know early on that you're a parent. If that's a deal breaker for them, better to know sooner than later. And I've chatted with people before. I think it must have been 5 years ago or so before my last relationship. I think when I first joined the dating sites, I didn't put anything in my profile. And I remember started chatting with this one girl and I told her I had kids. She said straight out, that's not what she's looking for. And I found it bugged me. Not everyone wants to be in that position. I'm hoping to find a mom. My last relationship, I liked the fact that she didn't have kids, but in the end, it started to bug me. And what I was mentioned a bit earlier, why would anybody want to be around my kids fighting? I had that mindset going into my last relationship, so I didn't really invite her around the kids, and she didn't have any experience being around kids, so she didn't ask to come around. And 4 years later, she barely knew my kids. I liked it in the beginning, but it really started to bother me in the end. One thing I notice that seems to be common with breakups, when you end your marriage, it seems to be common that you stay living in the same house for a while. And I know it's expensive to move out and, hassle to sell the house and split everything up. And my situation, I stayed for a year. We both started dating while we were still living in the same house. And I ended up moving out of my house into a house with my girlfriend. And I should say that I think that was a mistake. I should have taken the time to live on my own, not break up with her, but I do feel like I should have went out on my own, got used to the kids going back and forth, because on top of that, I had to figure out things with my girlfriend too. And I should have taken that time separately. We're giving you a free 30-day trial of Prime. Free delivery, award-winning TV, exclusive deals, and more. Click the link in the show description for more information. One of the biggest questions single dads face is, how do I balance dating and being a good parent? And for me, I found it's essential to have a clear separation between my role as a dad and my role as someone who's dating. My kids don't meet anyone I'm not dating until I'm absolutely sure it's serious. And it's my way of protecting them from any confusion or unnecessary heartbreak. But along with that, I'm pretty open with my kids. I like to talk about stuff, talk about feelings, and I try to encourage that. So I do tell them if I have a date or if I'm starting to chat with somebody. But yeah, they won't meet them until it turns into something. And I also want to make sure that any potential partner understands this boundary. The kids come first, and I'll need flexibility at times. I think it's essential to communicate this up front. If you're with someone who's right for you, they'll respect that and support you. I always felt guilty, like really guilty, if something came up and say one of my kids were sick or they needed to be picked up or something like that, and I had to cancel or be late for something. It didn't happen often, but it has happened. I feel so guilty. Again, that's kind of why I want to date a parent next time, because they'll understand. I know single people with no kids, they could say they understand, but they'll never fully understand. I want to be sure that the person I'm seeing is serious and committed. Introducing kids to a new relationship should be a gradual process. Start with casual meetups so they can get comfortable without feeling overwhelmed. And most importantly, make sure your kids feel heard. Let them share their thoughts and listen. I remember when the kids met that girlfriend that I moved in with. The first time we met, we went skating. And that was fun. We kind of skated around. They went on their own, but they got to meet her. And it wasn't like they weren't forced in this situation where they had to sit down. And, it was just really casual. Here was where things can get tricky. When you're in a relationship, it's natural to want to prioritize it. But as a dad, your kids will always come first. A new partner has to understand that balance. And when there are conflicts in priorities, because there will be, it's all about finding ways to keep communication open with everyone involved. One thing I've found helpful is setting aside specific times for my partner and for my kids. This creates a balance and ensures that nobody feels overlooked. It's also a way to keep things organized and stay present in each role. Another aspect that's important in dating as a single dad is setting boundaries. Not every relationship needs to be shared with your kids, and sometimes it's okay to keep things separate. Being transparent with your partner about your schedule, your kids' needs, and your own emotional boundaries can save everyone a lot of heartache. On a previous episode of this podcast, I interviewed a girl, and she was telling me that when she first started dating her husband, he didn't even tell her that he had kids. That never came up for like a couple dates. It's like, how do you not, like, it's important to me to just be open. I just don't understand how that wouldn't come up. It's just as important to set boundaries with yourself. I know it can be tempting to get lost in a new relationship, but I keep a close eye on my priorities. If I notice my time with my kids slipping or I'm feeling stretched too thin, I reevaluate. And finally, dating as a single dad can feel a little daunting, but it's essential to stay positive and remember that you deserve to find happiness and companionship. The right person will understand your responsibilities, embrace your kids, and appreciate you for who you are. And I can't wait until I find that. I'm sure the right person's out there somewhere. I've been on the dating apps for a while now, and deep down, I still don't think I'm ready, but I'm trying to stay positive, and I know that someone else always comes along. I just have to wait. Being a single dad brings an added layer of strength, compassion, and commitment to the dating scene. So embrace those qualities. Look for someone who sees the value in all that you are, not just a single dad label. When I've brought up in the past telling my kids about starting to chat with someone new or going out on dates and stuff, to be honest, they don't even care, or at least they act like they don't care. I'm not sure if it bugged them or not that they didn't really come around my last one. I just feel like they're so into themselves and their friends that they probably don't think about that stuff, but I could be wrong. So to all the single dads out there trying to navigate dating, Know that it's possible. Take your time, be clear about your boundaries, and don't compromise on the values that make you a great dad. There's someone out there who will appreciate that and who will make your life and your kids' lives even brighter. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the Dadlife podcast. See you next time.